All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay, and we're going to be talking about the S23 Ultra. After several weeks of having this device, really months, but I just recently switched to this powder blue color, so I guess I could say a couple of months later. But in reality, using this device has been an experience. Now, you've heard me often speak in other videos that I like my Z Fold 4 better. Well, that still stands true overall because there's some things that this device just can't do, which is fold into a tablet. But what I decided to do was go ahead and use this and not carry my other phones. Now, you guys know that I carry more than one device, and it's actually been pretty good to just carry one phone for a change. It's been really good. So by the way, this video is being recorded with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus, another Samsung device that I absolutely love. So let me know how the audio sounds, how the quality sounds. I know it's going to sound really good and look good, but I always like to put it out there to let you guys know which phone or if I'm using a phone at all to record the videos, because I do have a Sigma setup on a Sony camera. But for now lately, and I have recorded lots of videos with the Pro here. You guys love the footage that comes from the Xperia Pro I. That's actually a phenomenal set of cameras to do YouTube with. But anyway, speaking of doing videos, I recently have been using this device to record tons of content on my car channel. Now, let me go ahead and open up a video, the latest video that I did with this device on my car channel. And let me go ahead and let me get it pulled up real quick. Now, this is the latest video I've shot with this particular device, and where I live at, it's super windy. This is my the truck we got my wife. It's a 23 Sierra 1500. So beautiful, right? If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check out my, and there's my convertible Camaro. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out, man. Really, really nice truck, really nice quality video too. But that is what I'm going to discuss here in this video. This particular phone does very well with canceling out the sound. Now on my car channel, I normally wouldn't say what device I'm using, but some of you guys are following me over there now, and some of you guys are starting to ask, hey Jay, did a phone record this? Or flat out, which phone recorded this? And this particular video was done with the S23 Ultra and uploaded directly to YouTube in one take. I love to do one take. If I need to edit and do a bunch of different things, yes, with a little bit of B-roll, but for me, it's about one take. And I just think that's the best way that I like to make it easier on myself. But this particular video just happened to be done in one take. Beautiful truck, right? Like for real, it's so beautiful. But the S23 lineup, and just let me listen to the audio on here, because remember, it was windy out, and where I live at is always windy. But the audio is so good on this device, it cancels out the wind very well. So take a quick listen.
Took them off and put them over here. So day one, I put those running boards on there, and it was a good to go because she's like 5'2". But from this angle, it just looks so. This black and white theme looks great. It looks sweet. Wait until you see what I do with the interior. She's already told me what color she wants for the interior, and so that is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna take care of her on that. It's gonna be really nice. But we'll stay tuned for that. I asked her, I said, do you want?
So as you can see, the audio is super clear on here. And keep in mind, I'm not using Pro mode. Now the wind is canceled out so well on here. You can still hear some wind, but this phone does great for recording video. I mean, I really love it. The stability of the videos, you see me moving around, you can't really tell. It's almost like I'm floating sometimes when recording with this device. Now that is in 4K 30, not 4K 60, and that's something that you should take note of. When you record in 4K 60, you can't go in and out of the lenses while you're recording. So that is why I chose to do it like that. Now let me show you what I mean here. So if I start recording in 4K 30, I get my options, watch. See? I can do wide, I can do 3, I can do 10, I can go all the way up to 20. But if I go with, let's say, turn on 60 frames per second, you cannot record and change lenses after you cannot change the lens after you hit record. So all the options go away and you're stuck with this option right here. Now I can try to go in manually like this with 10, but there's no tap to zoom or on all those options go away, which is what I don't like, which is why I switched it to 4K 30. And then also I can swap between all the lenses, meaning I can hit record and then switch in between the front and rear. It's pretty cool. I think you can do, yeah, I can do that on 4K 60 too. Let me double check. Yeah, I can switch to the front with 4K 60, but I just lose the options of the all my lenses here, which is what I don't like. I like to be able to switch through every lens if I can. But this phone has been just phenomenal for me for recording footage. The telephoto lens setup on here is absolutely phenomenal. And I just think the overall package for video creation with this particular device has been really good. Now it doesn't have, now the advantage that I want, this is an advantage that I like about my Z Fold 4 and my Z Flip 4 is the ability to use an external display here. So when I turn on the camera, I can actually go to video and then turn on an external display. And it's right here, as you can see it there. See, no lies detected, right? There is the S23 Plus, like I said at the beginning of the video. Just on a tripod, no microphones. That microphone's not connected. That's from the iPhone. But there it is. So, and that's the advantage this device has, being able to use a cover display for video, and I can always see when I'm in frame. That is actually a really boss up move. So for me, as you can see, the cameras are really important to me, and the quality of the cameras is really important. A lot of you guys noticed and said, man, Jay, I can't believe that's a phone recording that footage. This is how good phones are now. And the Ultra in particular, for me as a person who likes video and does vlogs, this is a top-notch device for that. I mean, it is punching way ahead above several other phones out there for video. Way ahead. Now, one thing it's not the best to me, at least it's good. The HDR video, let me just say it. The HDR video on here, I don't think I prefer it over the iPhone's HDR video. There's no other way to say that. It's not that it's worse or it's just the way it's processed on an iPhone. HDR video looks really nice. And the Ultra, it's good. I'm not just like, woo, but I do feel like that when I use the 14 Plus for HDR video, which is why when I'm shooting an HDR video, it's going to be with an iPhone most of the time. So when you see an HDR video, most of the time, not all the time, but if you see an HDR video, it's probably being done with one of my iPhones. The iPhone 14 in particular is one of the best set of cameras for HDR video. I just can't, it's really good. So other than the cameras on here, the battery life has been pretty good for me, folks. I mean, it's nice and broken in. And actually, I got out of review mode this time with battery. And sometimes I plugged it up, sometimes I didn't, sometimes it died, sometimes it didn't, sometimes I just plugged it up at 50% or I plugged it up at 75%. I wasn't really tracking that, but what I was tracking is how many times was I in a position where I ran out of battery and I was stuck. Well, none. This has great battery, and that's the gist of it. This thing has great battery, and I definitely can make it through a full day and then some. So that's all I need to do. Now, performance on here is absolutely phenomenal. I still don't really like this right here. So I can install Good Lock. I have Good Lock installed. And what you do is you turn on the app tray, basically. I've downloaded some of these things here, and I guess I need to put it on this one. I forgot it's the Home Up. Yeah, Home Up. This is where... well, I guess when I did the restore, I didn't actually put it on, but Home Up is where you be able to turn on the app tray and make it swipe up and down. That's ultimately what it is. So after you get it installed, you can go in here and turn it on, and you can have it to where it sets the screen up and down for the grid and everything. It's really nice to be able to do so. So you can turn on the app list right here. I believe this is the one right here for the app tray. Yeah, there you go. That is how you do it. So if that's the only thing about this phone I don't like in comparison to, say, my Pixels and stuff like that. I just like the standard default. And this doesn't even look good, by the way, with it like this. I just don't like that. For some reason, it just doesn't look as good. It doesn't look as polished. But at least I can have it that way. So let me see here. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, wrong one. That's the home grid. Yeah, that's definitely not what I was looking for. Yeah, that's what I needed right there. But again, that's just what it is, man. It's I'm sure it's another way to make this look better. I don't like it though. So, but the fact is, I can go ahead and turn that on if I need to. But these icons are huge, and that's not something that I like. But software overall, the Samsung is killing it. They have all these options in their software that just makes it so good. Now, this is a 512 version, so you definitely can. You'll have lots of storage in here to get things done for the things that you actually need to get done. So let me go. I'm going to the storage too for you here. Battery device and storage. Let's optimize it. But Samsung definitely has done right by the software. Speaking of battery, I didn't really go in here, but you can see the last time I charged it was 9 hours ago. And it says I have 22 left, and it says I'll last for, on average, I'm lasting just over a day, almost a day and a half. So that's really good battery. But storage-wise, at one point, there's a lot of people complaining about the system files on here. And, okay, come on. Okay, my files, here we go. There was a lot of people complaining about the system files on the devices. And you can see here, this one is taking up basically 56 gigs of storage for the system. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean anything to me, but it means something to other people. And I don't know. That was a discussion at one point, and I guess it is what it is. But my thing is the software is phenomenal on here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the app list because, yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But I really wish there was a stock version of this with this hardware. Oh, remember those back in the day? The Google Play editions? They were phenomenal. Those were the good old days. But the battery life is good. The software is good. The cameras are phenomenal. And the overall experience with this phone is just good. And the inclusion of the S Pen is something. Here's a fun fact, folks. I use the S Pen, but I have not pulled this S Pen out since I've gotten it. I know I use the S Pen all the time, but I just haven't had a situation where I need to pull it out yet. And ironically enough, I realized I haven't even pulled out my S Pen yet since I had this phone. And I've had this phone since last month sometime. This particular color that I switched to this color last month sometime. But it's so strange I haven't pulled it out. And I know if I pull that out, it is going to give me the welcome thing for the pen. But nonetheless, the S Pen is a must. And I just think that if you're getting this device, take advantage of the S Pen. I love the S Pen. It's a must-have for me. And I, in fact, do use it with this device. I'm just ready for this device to have a way to store the pen. Not being able to store a pen inside of here, it kind of sucks, but that's not a note-style device, even though it has all those notes applications on it. And you can use an S Pen. You can get an S Pen. I use one myself. That's an advantage to this device for being able to store it away. Absolutely love it. As soon as I get on here, I get all these emails for... Anyway, I'm excited about those things I mentioned, man. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here, because my overall experience with this phone has been just phenomenal. I mean, it's been great. Obviously, again, the main focus for me is cameras. These are some of the most impressive cameras ever, and I really enjoy them. But something that's kind of growing on me is the hardware. Now, you guys know I am not a fan of this boxy design, really never have been. And when I say boxy, I mean these sharp corners. But since Samsung decided to flatten off the sides and give it more of a flat display, it feels better in the hand. I must admit, this device feels much better in the hand than the previous generation. Because it makes it feel like it's got this flat display, and it makes it feel just a hair narrower. Believe it or not, I know it's a small, subtle change, but it in fact does feel a lot better in the hand. I don't know if you remember my initial impressions of this device when I got that first review unit in. I turned around and bought me one because I had no intentions on buying this device. Remember, I was like, I'm passing, I'm getting the X23 lineup. Well, I bought the S23 lineup, but I still ended up picking this one up because once I felt it in my hand, I had to get it. It just feels so much better. And then, in fact, this one became one of my daily drivers. Go figure. But I do like the hardware on here. The camera cut out the modules, and again, I do have the powder blue version, so obviously that's my favorite colors. Blue is, I got blue phones. I got several blue phones, as a matter of fact. But it's just a matter of, wow, now that I think about it, I have a lot of blue phones, like powder blue phones. But this hardware overall, I didn't know how I was going to feel about giving up my matte black size, because I don't like the titanium steel look on here, the titanium or the stainless steel look on here. But this looks so good with the powder blue, and I can thank Glenn for that in my Telegram group. He has this version. I was like, oh man, I gotta buy this. So the hardware on here has definitely grown on me. Again, it is not my first choice in hardware. The OnePlus 11 feels great in the hand if I'm going to compare some kind of big phone, and then the Sony Xperia Pro I is another one that just feels great. Like, let me get the Xperia Pro I out of this case. This is like the perfect feeling phone when it comes to. I mean, this is the truth. I can't wait till a new version of this comes out. But I would gladly take the rounded corners and the slimmer design in a Samsung Galaxy S23 device. I really would. This is the best hardware. If you've never felt this hardware, this phone, you would really appreciate it, folks. Don't think because it's 21:9 that you'll hate it. I'm telling you, this is premium hardware. It's got built-in ridges on the side of the device. It's freaking beautiful. And it's still for the headphone jack in there. Anyway, this is a great big phone design for the slab. But overall, this phone has grown on me. I'm totally feeling it. And I'm pretty excited to actually be using this as a daily, because my S22 Ultra was one of my favorites. And if you don't know, I did trade my blue S22 Ultra eventually for the S23 Ultra in blue, because Samsung changed their trade-in values and basically gave me $800, because they gave me $700 for the phone and then another $100 to spend in their store. And I grabbed some accessories and called it a day. So, man, I'm excited to let you know that using this daily is really nice, folks. The 200 megapixel camera, the 5,000 milliamp hour battery, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, the 12 gigs of RAM. I mean, the screen is beautiful. The battery is good. Just some subtle changes, and I will be extremely pleased and actually really happy with it. They're doing a good job with this. And I don't think phones, the slabs, have plateaued just yet, because there's so much more that they can do with this design. They just have to take the risks, and that's all it is to it. It's your man Jay. Are you using the S23 Ultra? Any of the colors, it doesn't matter. But if you have a blue one, let me know in the comments. As a matter of fact, put your color that you have down in the comments. But are you using the Ultra? Do you like it? Have you had it for at least 2 weeks? How do you feel about it? It's your man Jay. It's grown on me big time. I'm impressed. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.